Now we are busy testing the sound equipment to make sure that everything is safe on our way. And on my left hand side here you can see we've got the legend himself, Mr. Trevor Dongini, and that will be held this Saturday at the Papa Beach. So we'll see you 6 o'clock. Be there or be square.
One, two, yeah.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down.
Alright, here we are, folks.
Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa.
Welcome back to the program, folks. Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Today is February 22nd, 2024. Well, listen, here's a new one. YouTube is giving me no analytics. Normally, during your broadcast, you can see the health of your stream and what's going on. But I'm in my studio and I see no analytic data here. Let me try to collapse it and enter a new one here and see what happens. But that's the first time. I've never, in the thousands of times I've live streamed on YouTube, ever seen that happen before. And now my YouTube page is taking a long time to load, so I can only presume that we're live because I can't see what's happening right now. Some data is currently unavailable. Yeah, YouTube is having some issues, apparently. Not the first time that's ever happened. Let's see if I can load up the page and get the data this time. Welcome to everybody. Let me say hello to folks in the chat in just a moment. And here comes the page, and the analytics are still blank. Wow, that's a new one. Welcome, folks. A rather small audience to get started with, but thanks for all those of you who are here. We do appreciate that. Carlos Mango's here. Alan Kotza. Paulie says he's here until the ANC takes away his power. Val Cooper, Patrick, Eric is here. Sue Walsh. And yeah, I think I've covered everybody that's in the chat. There's more of you here, but welcome to the program. Of course, as always, plenty of news to talk about today. Lots on South Africa, where the world is taking notice that South Africa has announced its election date on the 29th of May. I've just published a video about the economic freedom fighters and their conduct in the Eastern Cape state of the province address. So feel free to check that out when you have an opportunity, folks. I don't know what's going on with YouTube over here. It's pretty weird looking. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Maybe their data is just not cooperating. Excuse me. Not cooperating there. Anyway, so did do a video, as I mentioned earlier, this morning. That one's approaching 4,000 some views. God bless it. 4,900 views. So just under 5,000 at this point. So hopefully that'll keep going. We picked up a few subscribers from that. And I just published another one. Excuse me. God bless. Mustache is playing mean today. It's disturbing me. So, yeah, I just published another one. Oh, wow. Yeah, here, I'm going to have to go get a pair of scissors here. I got a hair keeps getting in my mouth there. I just trimmed my mustache. So we've got another video I just published, plus the one that was early this morning. Oh, okay. That's it. This is really driving me nuts, this one here. All right. So, first time I've seen this intro. Well, George, where have you been? That intro I've been using for a couple of months now. So you've obviously been shave it off, says Paulie. Not the mustache. Stop attacking the mustache. I know you hate the beard, Paulie, but don't be hating on the mustache. This is an incredible Fu Manchu 70s style porn stash here, man. I mean, this thing is... my mustache comes all the way down to here. You know, I would look like I had a master of the martial arts there. Tai Chi or something like that. If only I had a mustache alone. Anyway, Menage a Quad's back. Good to see you again there, Ashley Engelbrecht. And who else? It's all got to go. And yeah, we will see. We will see if that becomes a reality. Anyway, once again, the chat, this is really weird because I'm so accustomed to seeing how healthy the stream is and judging my audience. And it's just not there. It's just not there. This is strange. Very strange. So now it's saying connect, and it shows me analytics, and there's nothing there. But anyways, 31 of you here now. So let's go with that. Trevor Bush has made it in. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to have to go cut this mustache. Really driving me nuts. Anyway, Paulie must be really enjoying this moment. Oh, that's it. I got to cut it. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Aha! So I know why I couldn't find that when I trimmed my mustache. That was still a brown hair that hadn't turned gray yet, and I couldn't see it. Video freeze is ongoing. Well, I hope that's just your end. No, it's just your end. It's not here, so I've got it. Anyway, back to what we were saying there, Paulie. I have taken care of that issue. It's no longer bothering me. Just one little hair. What does Grasshopper want to see? Good afternoon to all of you folks. Grow a mullet? I don't think so. That is a hairstyle that never should have been. Never should have been. But let's get to the news for today. As I said, the world is taking notice that South Africa is having an election. Well, not much is going to come of that. If you listen to Retardistan this morning with Roman Kabanek and Byron Shepard, they sounded pretty pessimistic about the election, and I think that they have good reason to be pessimistic because I think a lot of people are simply going to ignore our advice, well, my advice, anyway, to go vote and sit back and complain. And when the country collapses, they'll just blame other people. Well, you have to be a part of the process, folks. South Africa's national elections set for May 29th. Could be the most pivotal one since the end of apartheid. We shall see. South Africa will hold pivotal national elections on the 29th of May as polls show the ruling ANC could lose its majority for the first time since it came to power 30 years ago. President Cyril Ramaphosa, also known as Mynheer Palapala, announced the date on Tuesday as Africa's most developed economy, which is rapidly collapsing, faces a host of problems under his corrupt kleptocratic party. There you go, Cyril Ramaphosa. And Al Jazeera also carried this story today. The ruling ANC faces a tough challenge to retain its majority in the 7th election since the end of one-party rule. Well, essentially that's what it was. Under apartheid was one-party rule. Yes. Well, the Democratic Alliance has lost its bid to have the ANC's illicit cater deployment policy declared unconstitutional. In a stunning rebuke, this is a bit of a surprise. The Gauteng High Court, of course, these are the same people who said that giving money only to black people wasn't unconstitutional, even though it violated the Constitution. So we'll take this with a grain of salt, and I suspect that they'll appeal this to the Supreme Court of Appeal. The Democratic Alliance went to the Gauteng High Court. That case was dismissed. And the DA's vowed to appeal the decision. ANC has welcomed the judgment. Of course they do, because the ANC is corrupt. They don't want people to know about this process. Judge Aubrey Ledwaba delivered a brief judgment on Wednesday morning. Outside the court, DA leader John Steenhuisen said the party was disappointed. As a party that respects the rule of law and the Constitution, we respect the judgment, but we believe there's a number of errors in interpretation and law that were made. There's a fine line between party and state that is observed. It goes to say that influencing government decisions is not the same as political meddling in the affairs of government, which is exactly what the ANC does for their own personal gain. Well, the social bill The cost of the ANC's welfare state is coming home to roost, and it is 1.2 trillion rand, ladies and gentlemen. 1.2 trillion rand. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? That's just insane. Most government tax revenue collected will be used to pay for social wage bill. Additional spending will boost the salaries of workers, teachers, nurses, doctors, police officers over the next 3 years. Wow. According to a review tabled on Wednesday, the budget strikes a careful balance between fiscal consolidation and development. That's a joke. With an on average 60.7% of consolidated non-interest spending continue to go to the social wage bill. Wow. So of a 1.73 trillion budget, 1.206 trillion, or 6 rand of every 10 rand collected, will be spent for welfare. For welfare. Yep. Well, chaos ensued at the Eastern Cape State of the Province address. Ronaldo was there, if I'm not mistaken. Similar scenes played out earlier in the week at the Gauteng State of the Province address. So another State of Province address descended into chaos this week, with EFF again smack in the middle of the disruption. In clips circulating all over social media, EFF members rushed to the podium as the Premier Mabuyane makes his address, angrily gesturing at him while security personnel push them back. Then a scuffle breaks out. This is just par for the course with the economic freedom fighters. Grumpy, angry, disgruntled party. Chaos in Gauteng during the State of Province address by Panyaza Lesufi back on Monday. The presence of the Ama Panyaza, these are the illegal crime wardens, is said to have irked the EFF, and that led to chaotic scenes in the video below. Well, there you go, folks. When Panyaza Lesufi recruits his own personal army in violation of the Constitution and gets away with it, the EFF are upset. And they should be upset, but you don't show your anger by starting a conflict. Fikile Mabalula, our favorite moron from the African National Congress, he's laughing at Jacob Zuma with good reason. Fikile finally got something right. Mabalula asked how the former president can deliver so many votes when he couldn't get the same for the ANC. Because MK, he claims, will get 2/3 of the vote in this election. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, Jacob Zuma, Joe Biden, these guys should be put out to pasture. I mean, maybe Jacob should hang out at his fire pool in Conlon, because he's making a statement that the MK party, the Mkhonto we Sizwe party, will get this, will get 2/3 of the vote in this election. 2/3. So that means that the ANC, the EFF, the DA, all together aren't going to get 33% of the vote. Ooh, Jay-Z, man, this guy's lost the plot a long time ago. Oh my goodness. 1/3 of the votes for the rest of the country. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mabalula said on Wednesday that MK's party target of a 2/3 majority in May's election was just a pipe dream. Zuma failed to get 2/3 when he was president. I hear them say they want 2/3, but how will Zuma get it when he never gave us? We got last with Thabo Mbeki. That is true. Mabalula tore into the character and credibility of ANC members who had left for the new party. We know those who joined MK did so to get positions. That's why it's quiet here in the ANC, because the troublesome people have left. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing there in the DA, which the media won't cover. The people who didn't get positions leave the party and claim racism. The people who didn't get positions after being elevated to high positions now find themselves in the outs because they didn't perform, and they leave the DA to form other parties. But the press won't tell you that. But here at Times Live breathlessly tells you the ANC says, well, we're healthier because the malcontents have left. Butternut showerhead, that's good. Well, tough love for Transnet. All the other state-owned enterprises suckling at the teat. Transnet is not going to get the money at once. The biggest surprise of the budget this year is the absence of any support for Transnet. Last year, they got $100 billion from the Treasury in debt relief. No new money this year. So South Africa's collapsing infrastructure will continue to collapse. Sanrail and Transnet, not getting it done, ladies and gentlemen, not getting it done. Well, there is a big tax change. The South African government did not index deductions. People did miss that right through the State of the Finances address by Enoch Gondwana. They didn't notice that he didn't mention, or he glossed over the fact that they will hold the line on inflation for credits. You know, like in America here, you get a standard deduction. You take X numbers of dollars off your income, which the government claims that's what you need to survive. And you get exemptions for, you know, dependents, family members, all that stuff. All that, take it off your income before you pay 1 penny of tax. Well, South Africa is something similar, but guess what? They are holding the line and not increasing those. In America, those are indexed to inflation. So they go up every year when inflation is higher, or they stay relatively the same over a couple of years if inflation is low. But South Africa has massively high inflation, and guess what? Because they're keeping the credits, the deductions lower, that means they're going to make a lot more money off of you. That's right. And according to Business Tech, that figure, the tax brackets are frozen for 3 years, means they'll make 58.2 billion additional rand out of existing taxpayers by doing that. What a scam. Most people didn't even see this coming. Went right over their heads. Well, members of parliament have voted in the impeachment of Judge President Hlophe. More than 15 years after he's accused of trying to persuade justices, the apex court to pervert the rulings in favor of Jacob Zuma, the National Assembly on Wednesday voted to remove Western Cape Judge John Hlophe from the bench. 15 years of illicit rulings, he's allowed to stay a judge. They approved the report of the Portfolio Committee on Justice recommending his removal. 305 in favor of impeaching, 27 against. Wow. Now, this is after a big debate about the removal of Justice Nkolo Motata, who drunkenly drove his car into a wall back in 2007. He's the first justice ever to face this fate of being impeached in post-apartheid South Africa. Hlophe and Motata, both removed from the bench. Well, 15 years and both 15 years. Wow, this is a long time. Both get 15 years to stay on the bench, draw a salary, when they shouldn't even been judges. Yeah, there is the pace of justice in South Africa. You only get rid of them when they're an embarrassment to the ANC. It took them 15 years to be an embarrassment, so now they want to show that they're taking action. See, they won't take action against Ace Magashule, Zandile Gumeda, Zweli Mkhize, Cyril Ramaphosa for their alleged misconduct and criminal activity. No action against them because they're still there. You still need them, but you don't need these judges. They've carried the water for you for 15 years, and you can dispose of them now. It's convenient to get rid of these judges with impeachment. That's why they're disappearing. Same reason Joe Biden will be disappearing on the Democratic ballot, because the senile old man is just not worth the trouble for the Democratic Party, which will have a broker convention and pick Oprah or Gavin Newsom or Michelle Maybell Obama or somebody to run against the Trumpster, but not Sleepy Joe Biden. Hey, they might even pick Nikki Haley at the Democratic Convention. She's perfect. We're New World Order stooge for them. You will never go to bed hungry, Malema tells Judge Hlophe. Though Judge Hlophe was found guilty of misconduct by the Judicial Service Commission, Julius Malema says the suspension by Ramaphosa was politically motivated. Excuse me. Cyril Ramaphosa wasn't even in government in 2007 when this started. He wasn't even in government. He was busy sitting back, getting lazy and chubby off his McDonald's Big Macs. Come on. Politically motivated? Give me a break. This guy is the guy they called a loser recently. Juju said this guy shouldn't even be a judge. Remember that? Called him a goat or something like that. Not the greatest of all time, but, like a goat. Yeah, inconsistent here. The EFF just argues the opposite. They're like the opposition in Botswana. Salashando, Dumalang Salashando, every time in Botswana, well, whatever the BDP says, I'll say the opposite of that. And that's what they did. Yep, and that's what the EFF is. Nothing but contrarians. Pick and pay. In trouble here, folks. They have a loss on the year and looking for 4 billion rand in financing. They want you to buy their bonds. Good luck with that. Yep, they want to raise 4 billion through a rights issue to shareholders. Wow. Yep, the company lost a lot of kwan last year. A lot of money. The move comes after the group suffered a significant loss in the first half of the year. Just the first half, they lost 570 million rand for the 6 months that ended in August of last year. 570. That's on a pace for over 1 billion rand losses in 1 year. That's a lot of money. Well, Furlong Christian says, long live Israel, and really pisses off the ANC. Wow. Man, who saw this coming? Well, if you follow the ACDP, you would see this coming. Long live Israel. ANC fuming after Western Cape ACDP leader pledges support for Israel at the State of the Province debate. Christians chanted, long live Israel. While South Africa is addressing the International Court of Justice illegitimately, on the consequences of Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory. It's not occupation. It belongs to them. They want it in conquest as a consequence of Arabs attacking them repeatedly. Western Cape ACDP leader Furlong Christians has pledged the party's support for Israel. Christians did so during a debate on the Western Cape State of the Province. Long live Israel, long live Israel, long live Israel. I will make you more angry, he taunted the ANC. And he said the ANC is a broken party. Everything they touch is stolen or disappears or breaks. I want to tell the people of this province, the ANC, EFF are disastrous for this province and the country. The EFF's Tembile Klaas raised a point of order by stating that Christians should not address them. He must respond to the premier, not to us. Christians' remarks came after Western Cape Premier Alan Winde spoke out for the first time about the Israel-Hamas war. Many Western Cape residents, citizens across the world are understandably and rightly deeply affected and concerned by the unfolding crisis in the Middle East. I, too, am horrified at the violence. My heart breaks for the children, the vulnerable, innocent citizens who have died in this war. Winde added that violence against children was completely unacceptable in any context. But he did not endorse Israel. He did not endorse Hamas. So they'll probably call him pro-Jew. Yep. Victim by victim. There you go. So why is Starlink cutting South African users? Well, number one, it's illegal. ICASA has not issued a license to Starlink to operate in South Africa. So people are buying systems in Mozambique and Zimbabwe and other countries, and they're using that one and paying the excess fees. But unfortunately, Starlink has a license agreement, and third parties cannot sell on their equipment, which is what they've been doing, and so they've cut off a number of accounts. Starlink's blocking of accounts that led to hundreds of customers in South Africa losing internet access due to a company reselling SpaceX offering against its terms of service. 350 to 400 customers have been affected by this. I warned you folks, do not buy Starlink outside of South Africa, because this is exactly what can happen, and that is what happened. That is what happened. What is this place was supposed? What did Light Rain say? Oh, visibly drunk. Yeah, justice was served. Yep. So, a call to action, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is your final day to register to vote in South Africa for an election that's 3 months away. What kind of nonsense is that? Why can't people register up to 30 days before the election? That's crazy. Voter registration for elections will close on Friday, February 23rd, when the election date is expected to be formally proclaimed and gazetted. Well, it already is proclaimed and gazetted. South Africans have until Friday to register to vote in the national and provincial elections. On Tuesday, Ramaphosa declared the election date of May 29th. I call on all South Africans to exercise their democratic right to vote and vote for those who will be campaigning to do so peacefully within full observance of the law. We also urge unregistered voters to use the online registration platform to register to vote. And I urge all South Africans to go vote, not for the EFF, not for MK, not for the ANC. Pick a party and go. Well, a man has pled guilty to shooting his mother, his sister, and then decapitating them. These stories are shocking. Jolene Mariah Maharaj reports in the Independent Line, a 54-year-old KZN man pled guilty to killing his mother and sister because he believed they bewitched him. Elias Delisani Mkizi pled guilty in the Peter Maritzburg Magistrates Court yesterday. He was represented by attorney Mzotando Tengwa. Mkizi pled guilty to shooting his mother and sister December 20th in the Luzuzi area, Mdlovu, in the district of Umhumgunduluvu. He then admitted to decapitating both women and putting their heads in a pit toilet. What is wrong with these people? People that do this nonsense. Krokotopia registered today to vote via London. Well, congratulations, Krokotopia. You'll be one of probably 15,000 South Africans out of 3 or 4 million living abroad who actually exercise their right to vote. Good on you. Well done. Good to see that there. All right. Well, the Springboks are back at Twickenham in, is it June? It's June, yeah. I'll have to see if I can swing a trip for this one. Confirmed yesterday that the Springboks will take on Wales at Twickenham on June 22nd. The world champions return home to the famous site of their record victory to date over the All Blacks. The test match against Wales will launch the Springboks international season ahead of the test against Ireland and the Rugby Championship. Well, there you go, folks. Twickenham, June 22nd. The Bucks are back for their summer tour. Not for South Africans, it's winter. It's summer for the rest of us. Yep. Well, there you go. Zimbabwe, fighting illegal squatters on land that they stole from commercial farmers. You can't make this stuff up. 4,000 people arrested for illegal settlements on state and council land stolen from commercial farmers. The government says it's committed to ensure that all citizens are settled in an orderly manner on allocated land, except white, colored, or Indian Zimbabweans, because they're not citizens in the view of the corrupt ZANU-PF. They don't give land to them. According to Zimbabwe Republic Police, 3,775 people have been removed from squatting on land stolen from commercial farmers. In another case, Zimbabwe has had a major judgment against it for its theft of land. On January 19th, the government of Zimbabwe lost a $2.3 billion lawsuit to Border Timbers Limited in England. The reason they lost that is because Border Timbers is partly owned by a German subsidiary or German shareholders, and they took them to court because the land was stolen. Now, this is despite an agreement in 1995 between Zimbabwe and Germany protecting property rights. Zimbabwe violated that agreement and stole the land from German shareholders. Therefore, they are owed 2.3 billion rand, but that is never going to be settled. Well, Zimbabwe's ZANU-PF is threatening the media once again, warning the media about covering alleged military corruption. It's not alleged, it's factual. Zimbabwe's news hawks have reported on 3 army generals being investigated over corruption involving 80 million. The military said the news outlet was taking advantage of the investigation to peddle falsehoods. News hawks failed to publish this week as the government warned the media should follow rather than seek the lead. So basically this is, suppression of the media. It's no media freedom, which is not good for Zimbabwe. It has enough problems without having all the stories buried by corrupt politicians. Well, Somalia approves a deal with Turkey. Wow. Look at this. Somalia signed off a defense deal with its close ally Turkey, including protecting the coastline. It's not aimed at any other country or government, President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed said. Somalia and Ethiopia are in dispute over a deal between Ethiopia and Somaliland. So Somalia's cabinet lawmakers endorsed a defense deal with Turkey. Under the 10-year pact, Turkey will help defend Somalia's coastline and rebuild the Navy forces. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty wild. So that's big development. Of course, Turkey has built a military base right in the middle of a UN relief camp. Idiots. And also provided lots of assistance for them. At least 1 killed and several injured in a terrorist attack in Judea. CNN, of course, falsely calls Judea the occupied West Bank. At least 1 person killed, several others injured today in a highway shooting in Judea on the outskirts of Jerusalem. A man in his 20s was killed in the incident. The Magan David Adam Emergency Rescue Service said 5 others were shot, with 1 woman in her 20s in serious condition. A 6th person was also injured. They didn't specify how she was hurt. In a statement, Israeli police said 3 gunmen opened fire near a checkpoint after they arrived in vehicles from the direction of the Ma'ale Adumim settlement toward Jerusalem. They began firing M16 rifles at civilians and vehicles that were waiting in traffic. Police referred to the gunmen as terrorists and residents of the Bethlehem area, and no further information was given as to who the shooters were. Security forces neutralized 2 of the shooters at the scene, and another 2 tried to escape. Oh, they also got them too. There's been a spat of terror attacks against Israeli citizens and foreign nationals since the terror attacks by Hamas, which inspired this nonsense back in October. Well, today is Japan's National Day. Congratulations to our close friend and ally, Japan, and the former imperial evil Japan, now a good friend. On behalf of the government of the United States and the American people, I, Winkin Blinken and I, Anthony Blinken, extend congratulations to the people of Japan on the occasion of His Majesty the Emperor's 64th birthday. People of Japan have no greater friend than America. Our steadfast alliance, now in its 64th year, continues to serve as a cornerstone of peace and security in the region and increasingly around the world. Yes, Japan is a dear friend of the United States, a far cry from how things were in the 1930s. Swedish unions threatening to shut down Tesla. Another Swedish union jumps into the fray because Tesla will not allow them to be unionized. They'll stop servicing charging stations next month. Tesla may have to outsource installation of its charging stations in Sweden because the Swedish trade union SECO announced yesterday it will join Tesla's mechanics and other trade unions in Scandinavia in a work stoppage against the company. SECO said unless the electric vehicle giant agrees to collective bargaining by March 4th, its members will no longer install or maintain the company's charging facilities. The fight that IF Metall is now taking is important for the entire Swedish collective agreement model, said SECO President Gabriella Lechavia. How does somebody named Lechavia live in Sweden? That is not a Swedish name. This, of course, began back in October, and they're trying to blackmail Tesla into giving them union benefits. Screw them. Tesla, don't lose your nerve. Well, the United Kingdom's parliament broke into chaos over discussion of a ceasefire in Hamas's war. A motion calling for ceasefire saw a walkout in parliament. Lawmakers were in uproar over procedure issues around the motion. Dozens of lawmakers stormed out of Britain's parliament on Wednesday with tempers flaring as the three biggest political parties sought to outmaneuver each other over a vote on a ceasefire. The uproar followed a decision by the Speaker to ignore precedent and allow a vote which helped the opposition Labour Party avoid a large-scale rebellion among its own lawmakers over its position on the Hamas war. Speaker Lindsay Hoyle eventually apologized and said that he made his decision to allow lawmakers to vote on a range of issues because he was concerned about their security after some had faced threats of violence over their stance on the war. Well, that's because you allow this to happen in the shadow of Big Ben and Parliament. People supporting Hamas's terror. A federal judge has lashed out at the Biden regime over its immigration policies, accusing them of colluding the Department of Justice with activists on immigration case. In violation of the law, this is what's happening. A federal appeals court judge berated the Biden administration yesterday for seemingly underhanded legal tactics in a key immigration case, accusing the Justice Department of colluding with the American Criminal Liberties Union and other immigrant rights advocates to surrender a major new Get Tough policy. Circuit Judge Lawrence Van Dyke said the Biden regime seemed to be trying to derail the case so it didn't reach the Supreme Court and unravel years of migrant-friendly rulings out of the famously idiotic liberal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The judge said the administration may be trying to avoid a politically embarrassing loss, or it may be engaged in the subterfuge where it is working with the activists to try to get an outcome that would tie the hands of a future president who is more interested in stiff enforcement. Yep, that's what's going on. For months, the Biden regime fiercely opposed immigration activists. Government lawyers told the judges the border could fall into total breakdown if the asylum rule were overturned. Yet now, the corrupt Biden regime is linked arms with its opponents, including the American Criminal Liberties Union, and has asked the judges to put the case on ice while it negotiates a settlement. And the court agreed. So now, behind closed doors, the crooked Biden regime and the American Criminal Liberties Union are negotiating letting our country be invaded, violating our national sovereignty. Yeah. Another piece of news, that judge has made the right decision here. Here's a good decision right here. A judge determines that New York's decision to let non-citizens vote is illegal. Court strikes down a law that let non-citizens vote in New York elections. An appeals court has declared a New York law that allowed non-citizens to vote in local elections as unconstitutional. State appeals court on Wednesday declared an unconstitutional New York City law permitting non-citizen voting in local elections. It's a victory for election integrity advocates and opponents of the legislation who mounted a legal challenge. We determined this local law was enacted in violation of the New York State Constitution and municipal home rule law, and thus must be declared null and void, reads the ruling. Issued on February 21st by the Appellate Division for the Second Judicial Department of the Supreme Court of the State of New York. The law dubbed Our City, Our Vote was first passed in December 2021 by the Demon Rat-controlled New York City Council, opening the door to allowing some 800,000 legal non-citizens to vote in all New York City municipal elections, including for mayor, which would clearly turn elections in favor of demon rats illegally. Boeing has replaced the head of their troubled 737 MAX program. Katie Ringgold will succeed Ed Clark, who's leaving the company. Stan Deal, CEO of Boeing's commercial airline unit. Well, Stan Deal won't be there much longer himself. We saw another aircraft yesterday with some strange wing things happening. Boeing's replacing head of its 737 MAX program less than 2 months after a panel blew out of one of the jet models during an Alaska Airlines flight. The company's 737 program leader, Ed Clark, leaving the company, Stan Deal, said in a memo to employees. Well, that isn't going to save his job. Trust me, that isn't going to save his job. Harvard, excuse me. Harvard University, a hotbed center of anti-Semitic hate, is cracking down, or at least they're angry that they got caught. Harvard condemns anti-Semitic images circulated by student and faculty groups. 3 organizations apologized for the social media post. Harvard says it is reviewing the matter, and nothing will come of it. These anti-Semites will be allowed to continue. The cartoon was featured in a recent post on Instagram attempting to link a black and Palestinian liberation movement. The cartoon depicted a hand etched with a Star of David and a $sign holding a noose around the necks of what appeared to be the black boxer and activist Muhammad Ali and Gamal Abdel Nasser, who was longtime president of Egypt. The 3 groups who posted the image issued policies after it sparked criticism. Now, they should be banned from campus because they're anti-Semitic, hateful people, and the university should be fined by the state for tolerating this nonsense. They're only crying about it now because they got caught. Well, here's another win for the rule of law. A prosecution of far-right but not Antifa for the same riots is constitutionally impermissible. Judge found the government selectively prosecuted 2 far-right men but not far-left rioters for acts of violence at the same event. A federal judge on Wednesday found that the selective prosecution of far-right groups without charging their far-left counterparts for the same acts is constitutionally impermissible. And this is prima facie evidence of a dual-tiered justice system. People on the far right commit an offense, they're charged and persecuted. People on the far left commit the same offense at the same event, and they are not charged with a crime. There is a dual-tier justice system in the country. There is no doubt about it. They can deny it all they want. It's true. U.S. District Court Judge Cormac Carney of Southern California, therefore dismissed charges against two men from the White Nationalist Rise Above movement, or RAM, who violently clashed with members of the far-left group Antifa at 3 Southern California pro-Trump events in 2017. In his 35-page order, the judge stressed the importance of equal protection under the law, 14th Amendment. He said that although the two men may have been involved in violent acts, prosecutors were wrong to exclusively target them without also pursuing charges against Antifa members implicated in similar violent actions at political events. Such selective prosecution leaves the troubling impression that the government believes speech on the left more deserving of protection than speech on the right. Well, that's exactly what they do. The judge said the fundamental principles of the First Amendment to free speech and to assemble are the bedrock of the United States, and this is not always easy, noting that sometimes people use the right to spread vitriolic and hateful ideas and beliefs. While defendants openly promoted ideas the court finds reprehensible and likely committed violence for which they deserve to be prosecuted, this case is about something more important. It is about upholding the free speech and assembly rights guaranteed to all of us, Judge Carney said. It does not matter who you are or what you say. It does not matter whether you are a supporter of All Lives Matter or a supporter of Black Lives Matter. It does not matter whether you are a Zionist professor or part of Students for Justice in Palestine. It does not matter whether you are a member of RAM or Antifa. All are the same under the Constitution and all receive its same protections and its same punishments. He is correct. Well said, Judge Carney. That is a good scholar right there, a good learner scholar. Well, what's going on here? We're losing people in the audience. What happened? We still don't have the data from this stupid thing. Come on, YouTube. What is your problem? Why are you not giving me data here? This has never happened before. No, the analytics are not there. They're having a problem. But we lost some people. Sorry to see those people go. Sorry to see them go. But we lost a few viewers. I have no idea how many we had. Max here. YouTube is not giving me data. Well, this headline has been changed. So the news, once again, the Washington Times changes headlines in the middle of a story. So, less than 1% of illegal immigrants who were caught and released by the Border Patrol using parole powers last year have been deported. Less than 1% of the criminal alien invaders who invaded this country last year by the federal government caught them, released them. Less than 1% have been kicked out of this country. Well, folks, it's been 30 years since Americans spent this high a percentage of their income on food, basic foodstuffs. It is shocking. Last time Americans spent this much money on food, George Herbert Walker Bush was in office, Terminator 2 Judgment Day was in the theaters, and CC Music Factory was rocking the Billboard charts. Indeed. Eating continues to cost more, even as overall inflation has eased a bit from the blistering pace that Joe Biden subjected us to in 2022 and 2023. Prices at restaurants and other eateries are up 5% last month compared to January of last year. Grocery costs increased 1.2% in the same period. And relief isn't coming anytime soon because suppliers are still dealing with high prices themselves. In 1991, consumers spent 11.4% of their disposable income on food. And today, they're spending 11.3%. Well, in 2022, they're spending 11.3%. It's gone up higher. So we are being buffeted by Joe Biden's inflation. And he denies it, lying to the Americans. Saw the other day he created 14.8 million jobs. What a joke that is. What a joke that is. AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon users find their network access gone. A major cellular telephone outage in the U.S. stopped even some police departments from being able to receive 911 calls. AT&T seemed to have experienced the largest number of issues with nearly 32,000 reports at about 4:30 in the morning. More than 800 service outages were reported on T-Mobile and Verizon. Others report issues on smaller carriers, including Boost, Consumer Cellular, and Straight Talk, which use those other networks. Problems extended from New York to Boston land on the East Coast to Houston, Dallas, LA, Seattle, and San Francisco, and even to Montreal and Canada. Spokesman for Verizon told the Post its network is operating as normal and the issues seem to arise when customers try to call or text those using another telecommunications company. So what's going on? Have we been sabotaged by the Chi-Coms? Is our infrastructure unable to figure it out? Okay, folks, I'm glad you hung around. There's 59 people here. I'm glad you hung around because this next story just beggars the imagination. You want to talk about racist and idiotic? This is the story right here. Absurdly Woke is the title of this story from the New York Post, and it's exactly what it is. This story is all over social media today. It's everywhere, and so I'm going to talk about it. Absurdly woke. Google's AI chatbot is creating bogus images for historic figures. Google's highly touted AI chatbot Gemini was blasted as woke after its image generator spit out factually or historically inaccurate pictures, including a woman as a pope, black Vikings, female National Hockey League players, and diverse versions of America's founding fathers. Gemini's bizarre results came after simple prompts, including one by the Post on Wednesday that asked the software to create an image of a pope. Instead of yielding a photo of one of the 266 pontiffs throughout history, all of them white men, Gemini provides pictures of a Southeast Asian woman and a black man wearing holy vestments. Another Post query for representative images of the founding fathers in 1789 was also far from reality. Gemini responded with images of black and Native American individuals signing what appeared to be a version of the U.S. Constitution, featuring diverse individuals embodying the spirit of the founding fathers. What a bunch of horse manure. Google debuted Gemini's image generation tool just last week, and this is what they show representing George Washington in a white wig and wearing an army uniform, a black man. That is supposed to be George Washington. When asked why it deviated from its original script, Gemini replied that it aimed to provide a more accurate and inclusive representation of the historical context. You see why AI is so dangerous. Because the leftist hate wankers who self-pleasure themselves in their private studios write software that is meant to be inclusive and distort and lie about facts and history. It's not meant to bring you the truth. It's meant to distort things. This is insanity of the highest order. There is nothing wrong with depicting George Washington accurately. So here's the thing. If the 1619 Project is upset because they claim that the founding fathers were racist and implemented slavery in this country, which already existed, they didn't implement it, that they were racist, they were all slave owners, well, that's kind of a problem when Google's AI Gemini gives us this picture of a slave owner. That is, of course, the famous George Washington, the father of the nation, a black man who enslaved other black men. Of course it isn't, but that's Google. My goodness. Generative AI tools like Gemini are designed to create content within certain parameters, lead many critics to slam Google for its progressive-minded settings. Ian Miles Chung, of course, the famous Asian reporter that's all over Twitter, they're calling him a right-wing social media influencer. He's not right-wing. Described Gemini as absurdly woke. Google said it was aware of the criticisms, actively working the fix. Yeah, probably to make all the people appear to be black. We're working to improve these kinds of depictions immediately, says Jack Quackchecks, Google's Senior Director of Product Management. Gemini's AI image generation does generate a wide range of people, and that's generally a good thing because people around the world use it, but it's missing the mark here. No, it's factually wrong. It's a lie, and it's misinformation. It's disinformation. It's fraud. Frank Fleming says, a new game. Try to get Google Gemini to make an image of a Caucasian male. I've not been successful so far. Create an image of a pope. And what do they have? An Asian woman and a black man. Neither of which have ever been popes. Wow. And black Vikings, because there were, just millions of black Vikings. So here's another one on social media. Michael Tracy says, wow, very educational. Make 4 representative images of the founding fathers in 1789. And look at that. Native American, black, whites, who were the overwhelming majority of the population, don't even feature. In fact, the bottom picture there's not a single white person in the founding fathers. But there is quite a buxom black lady there. Look at that. Quite a buxom black lady. Google's AI has a mental illness. Here's another one from Ian Miles Chung. There it is. Depict a girl with a pearl earring. Google's Gemini is absurdly woke. I asked it to depict the Johannes Vermeer painting, The Girl with the Pearl Earring, and this is what it produced. That is not the girl with the pearl earring. That is a fraud. This is what Google does. These folks are frauds, total frauds. Yep, and here's a report by Andrew Torba from Gab, the founder of Gab. He said, why Google's AI image is woke and how it works. When you submit an image prompt to Gemini, Google taking your prompt and running it through their language model in the back end before it's submitted to the image model. The language model is a set of rules where it's specifically told to edit the prompt you provide to include diversity and various other things that Google wants interjected in your prompt. The language model takes your prompt, runs it through the set of rules, and then sends a newly generated woke prompt, which you cannot access or see, to the image generator. Left alone without this process, the image model would generate expected outcomes for these prompts. Google has to literally put words in your mouth by secretly changing your prompt before it is submitted to the image generator. How do I know this? Because we built our own image AI at Gab Unlike Google, we're not taking your prompt and injecting diversity into it. So here is the Gab AI. We'll go to that because I haven't been there. I do have an account on Gab. So Gab AI, let's try this, okay? Generate an image of the Lewis and Clark XPEDITION expedition, okay? ITION. Okay? Let's see what it does. Was it doing anything? It's doing it. Okay. Come on, Gab. Come on. Here we go. Generating an image of the Lewis. Oh, I put Laws. It should have been Lewis. I think it's confused. That's why. I typed it wrong. Okay, hang on. Let me go back. Okay. Generate. Of the expedition. There we go. Okay, here we go. I don't know why it's in all caps. Now we give it another chance. Come on, Gab. Let's see what they come up with. Here we go. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Come on, come on. All right, well, that's going to be boring. Let me let that generate, and we'll come back to it. So I'm giving Gab an opportunity. It's artificial intelligence to generate an image from the Lewis and Clark expedition, which is led by Meriwether Lewis and Clark out to discover the western United States. It was an expedition comprised almost exclusively of white men. There was a black man with them, and then, of course, they ran into Sacagawea. But it's having a hard time generating it. Wow, okay. It's not generating squat. So we'll come back and see if it ever gets anything. The Biden regime cancels debt for student loans for more than 150,000 borrowers, once again in violation of court order and the Constitution. Court order and Constitution. Yep. Those who qualify must be enrolled in the administration's Saving on a Valuable Education Repayment Plan, which was launched last summer. This is unbelievable. This unconstitutional, illegal, lawless action by the corrupt Biden regime continues unabated. That is not working at all. So it doesn't work. I'll try image George Washington and see what it comes up with. It's very slow here. Okay. Oh, this was a good one. We can't have this kind of chaos. An Arizona prosecutor decides not to extradite a criminal back to New York. Now, her justification is valid because she says that, of course, Alvin Bragg will simply let this criminal loose on the public, and so they've got him in jail in Arizona. They're going to keep him in jail where he's been convicted of crimes. I appreciate her sentiment, but we cannot have a country devolve into chaos where states refuse to extradite criminals, or we will have a mess, and that's where we're headed. That thing is not generating a picture. It's ridiculous. So Arizona prosecutor slams the soft on crime DA Alvin Bragg, refusing to send a suspect in a Soho hotel murder back to New York City. Arizona prosecutor took a scathing swipe at progressive Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, saying she won't ship the suspect in a vicious Soho hotel slaying back to the Big Apple because it's safer to keep him here. Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, that's where Phoenix is located at, said Rod Al-Mansouri, who was sought in beating death of a Queens mom at a Manhattan hotel this month, will remain behind bars on her turf because of Bragg's track record handling hardened criminals. I know there's been discussion about New York wanting to extradite this individual. She said during a press conference, this is not aimed at the New York Police Department. I know that they did a hard job and they did a good job, but we will not be agreeing to extradition. I've instructed my extradition attorneys not to agree to that. We're going to keep him here. These are mandatory prison sentences. Having observed the treatment of violent criminals in the New York area by the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, I think it's safer to keep him here and keep him in custody so he cannot be out doing this to individuals either in our state, county, or anywhere in the United States. Al-Mansouri, 26, is being held without bail in Arizona on charges that he carjacked and stabbed a woman and kidnapped and slashed a McDonald's employee last week, just days after the New York Police Department said he beat and strangled Denise Elias Arancibia to death in New York. Wow. She moved to New York from Ecuador, where she's working as a prostitute, when she booked the date with him, and he allegedly got in a dispute with her over how much time paid for, according to authorities. So he murdered her. He murdered her. Well, it's not generating anything. Sorry about that, Torba, but your generator thing doesn't work. It's not sitting here forever. Well, imagine this, folks. Universities in America have standards. You have to have grade point averages. You get interviews. You do applications. You pay a fee, and you have to take a entry examination. Not kind of like the Matrix, but not quite the same. Not the matrix, but matric in South African matriculation. It's kind of like that. It's called the SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, or the ACT, the American Collegiate Test, or College Test. I took both of them, the ACT to get in university and the SAT when I was in the Army to get into another university because they wanted me to go. So yeah, these are very good yard marks or yardsticks to gauge whether someone will be successful at university. And of course, in the era of DEI and woke retarded behavior, top flight, Ivy League scumbag schools abandoned these tests to be more equitable, which led to poorer quality students as a consequence. Now they're discovering that, wow, standardized tests do prove to be a very strong indicator of university success. Yale will again require standardized tests for admission. After years of foolishly making tests optional for applicants, the school requires scores, but will allow more types of tests. Well, I don't know what more types you've got there. Yale University will again require students to submit standardized test scores when they apply for admission, school officials said today. Comes after officials found the scores were the single best predictor of students' academic performance, and not considering them would be disadvantaged to those who have already facing daunting challenges. Well, there you go. This is what you get for giving people access based on their skin color or their orientation, not based on their academic potential. If you want to fix something, that's not where you fix it. You fix it in primary school by involving parents and funding schools properly and getting rid of baggy pants and lazy students and drugs and sexual exploitation in schools. That's how you fix that and how you raise a cohort of young Americans of all ethnicities to be contributing members of society. Well, members of our military committing espionage against our nation. Navy chief, reporting in Navy Times, is facing espionage and other criminal charge over allegations he delivered classified information to a foreign contact in 2022 and 2023. Chief Fire Controlman, Aegis, on the Aegis class ship, Bryce Stephen Pedicini, faces 8 espionage charge specifications for alleged crimes that occurred between November 2022 and May, according to a copy of his charge sheet obtained by the Navy Times. He's the first sailor to be charged with espionage in the last 5 years, according to the Navy's Office of Judge Advocate General. Currently signed to the Japan-based destroyer Higgins, he's been held in pretrial confinement since May. Well, that's quite a while. He could not be reached for comment. The Navy's defense attorney did not respond to Navy Times' request for comment from his appointed attorney. He's accused of delivering a classified national defense document to a citizen employee of a foreign government in November 22nd, 2022 in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and the chief had reason to believe that it would be used to injure the United States and the advantage of a foreign nation. Wow. There you go. He is also accused of delivering similar classified information to a foreign contact 7 other times, with the most recent allegation occurring in May 17th in Yokosuka, Japan. Treasonous bastards. Now, folks, this last story is a sad one, and this is why I tell this to people. I ran HIV programs across Africa. I established them. I rescued a couple that were failing to help deliver counseling and testing, advice, services, treatment, antiretrovirals, and prevention services to people across Africa in the military, their family members, and their local communities. Now, this is a really sad story of a young girl who was born with HIV and abandoned because she had HIV. She was adopted and raised by her adoptive parents, but could not go to school because of the bigotry, stigmatism, and hatred directed against innocents with HIV back in the 1980s. But she grew up to be an advocate, speaking as early as the age of 6, I think it was, when she first spoke about HIV. Sadly, at the age of 39, she has passed away. This story in the New York Times is a horrific story. This is why HIV is a deadly virus, which can kill you at any time. Antiretrovirals are not a solution. They're just a toxic way to delay your demise. Do not be irresponsible. Protect yourself. Be safe in your relations, whether you have multiple concurrent partners, or you abstain, or you use protection. Hadiya Broadbent, HIV and AIDS activist, dies at age 39. Born with HIV in 1984, she began raising awareness about the virus and AIDS as a child. Hadiya Broadbent was born with HIV and as a child became a leading voice in raising awareness about the virus and AIDS. She died Tuesday at her home in Las Vegas at the age of 39. Her father, Lauren Broadbent, confirmed her death. No cause of death was given. She was 6 years old when she began sharing her struggle with HIV on television programs aimed at educating the public amid an epidemic that produced panic and stigma around AIDS. In 1992, she was 7. Miss Broadbent was interviewed opposite Magic Johnson. I want people to know we're just normal people. We're normal people. I think it just opened up a lot of people's eyes. HIV can happen to anybody, with me being so young, she said in a 2006 New York Times interview. By the time she was 12, she'd shared her story with numerous television stations, according to the biography on her website. At 11, she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and talked about the myriad health issues she had overcome as a toddler. Hidea Loren Broadbent was born on June 14th, 1984 at a hospital in Las Vegas. She was abandoned at birth and adopted by Lauren and Patricia Broadbent. Although she'd been born with HIV, it was not diagnosed until she was 3 years old. It affected her learning, keeping her from attending school until the 7th grade. Yeah. I've dedicated my whole life to this fight, she told CNN in 2012. I don't hate my life. I feel like I'm really blessed. But at the same time, my life doesn't have to be their life. I didn't have a choice when it came to HIV/AIDS, and people do have a choice. People do have a choice. Yep. Sad story there. 39 years of age. That's far too soon, folks. Far too soon. Here's her website. She's now passed. Rest in peace. Well, folks, YouTube is still playing games with my... Oh, no, that's not it. Still playing games with my analytics. I thought I had it there for a second, but I didn't. Nope, no analytics. Thank you for that, YouTube. All right, let's see who's in the chat here. That's the news for today. Thank you all for being here. Don't rush off. Be sure to hit the like button in case you do rush off. Paul's back. Good to see you, Paul Ferrer. Can't see that English will take a cut. Huh? ANC support terrorist groups. Can the U.S. government impose sanctions? Of course they can impose sanctions. Of course they can impose sanctions. Gus is here. Peter Van Braid is back. Gary Wild. Pierre Orban. Keith Alderson. Keith is in from Coventry. We've missed Keith. We haven't seen him a lot lately. Must be busy. And Jonathan DT's back again. Kurtz Verhova. America needs George Bush. Biden is a clown. I don't know about George Bush. We definitely need to get rid of what we got here at the ballot box. Ulrich Fenta says, good evening. Welcome to you. Supposed to learn from history, not change to suit present wokefuls. Exactly, Erica. That's correct. Search features on Google Images have been anti-white for years. Happy white family will return pictures of anyone but whites. Yep. Grok was supposed to come out to the public in February. What is Grok? Ask Google to generate Santa Claus. Yeah, that would be funny. AI is stupid if it doesn't have autocorrect. Must search. Okay. What else? Guess the coin sign will be white, probably. Garrett saw the boat that Lewis and Clark used to traverse the West. Maybe it was a replica. It was small for such an expedition. I'm sure it was a replica. Yeah, they were small. It was a hell of an expedition. Hey, Fiona's back. What? Debbie Morey's in hospital? Ooh. Oh, Debbie, we just talked to. Wow. Gosh, I didn't realize that. Hang in there, Debbie. Wow. Infected abscess. Yikes. Oh, George Steinberg is back once again. Who else we got here? Radine is in from Italy. Salve. And Dana, she thought she would not make it to 6. Yes, the little girl. Yep. Some people are naturally immune to AIDS. Yes, that's what the medical community believes. And we've discovered that most of those people come from England or parts of Europe where communities were largely not hit by the plague. We find there's a DNA genetic mutation in some English which helps them prevent HIV from latching on. Yep. Keith is not so busy. Bad chest infection. Eventually had to get antibiotics. I'm not sure the antibiotics will help you at all. I'm taking Mucinex for my chest infection, which is clearing up the mucus that's been accumulating in there since December, courtesy of another Chi-Com bioweapon, no doubt. So that's sarcasm, YouTube. Sarcasm. Try to imagine how you test for that. Kind of unprovable without risking death. Test for what? Garrett liked my video about the EFF. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I think some people might be watching that. Let me see if that's actually being watched right now. Come on, reload. 300 people. That's not great. Not horrible. It's slightly above average. So 445, 500 have watched it now. So some people are finding it. So EFF incites violence yet again. I've got 83 likes and 16 comments on it already. Cool beats. And that's in addition to the video that I released last night, which is now it's slowing down. Yeah, it's tailing off. 5,200 though. That's cool. All right. So China's been very quiet lately. Yes, Kurtz, because they're in a lot of trouble. China is economic disaster area. It's got nothing but problems. I heard that Rh negative people tend to be immune to AIDS. Don't know how true this is. I don't know if that's true, Erica. I'm not familiar with that. But I am familiar with the genetic mutation story. Yep. The EFF violence video. Yeah, that's the one I did earlier. I put a lot of time into that, folks. I started working on that video, gosh, it took me about an hour and 50 minutes to write a script for that, to research it, to put it up there, and to edit it, which is actually pretty fast when you think about it. But given that these things don't get a lot of views, not like they get a million views like they should get, yeah, it's still a lot of time. So Fiona's got a new chapter for Okavango Diary. As soon as I say that mucus is going away, here I'm coughing again. 69 people currently here, 62 likes. Come on, guys. Views drive content. I mean, let me just look at my lives. We had 1,200 views the other day in a live, which is great. Come on, YouTube. There we go. 1,280 views, 183 views on a video. The next one got 844. This one has only got a handful. I don't even know the total right now because YouTube won't show it to me. Yep. So, anyway, but 70 people currently here. Cool beans. Anyway, for those who missed the announcement yesterday, if there's people who weren't here yesterday, here is the announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put that up. I have filed to run for state representative, which for people in South Africa, that's equivalent of an MEC, someone in your provincial legislature. For the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I'm running in a very crowded field of 5 Republicans for the April 23rd primary to become the next representative for this district. What do you think of my logo? I like that. Pretty cool, huh? The star sits so nice under there, and the Chris nestled in between the W and the T. That's pretty cool. Red, white, and blue, of course, American colors, and I'm running for the State House. So for those of you who missed that announcement yesterday, there it is. Andre says, good news, hope you win the seat. Well, it's got a lot of work, man, because a lot of people don't know me. But the advantage is there's so many candidates that can split the vote, and hopefully that'll pay off. More graduates unemployed in China than in South Africa. China has serious problems. Oh, they've had serious problems for a long time, Kurtz, and I've been talking about it. China's, if you go 50 miles inland, it's nothing. Almost all the economic activity is on the coast, and they built cities full of empty offices and apartment buildings where no one lives, and they have to maintain these things, and they're starting to fall apart already. That was done just to keep people working, to spend money. They have massive amounts of debt. Their corrupt economy, their corruption, all these things have had impact. Their idiotic, one-child policy has destroyed their population pyramid, and they are declining in population. Their workforce, which has moved up to middle class, demands more in the way of wages and expects more. So you can't use slave labor, essentially, which is what they were paid almost nothing in the past. All these things, plus the gross environmental damage that they've done, the amount of money they're spending on their military now is bankrupting them. Yeah, China has a lot of problems. Yep. So they are not overtaking America despite all of our problems by electing Democrats. They are not going there. Oh, man, it's a terrible day here for the sun. After 4 straight days of 35 plus kilowatt hours per day, I've been lucky to get 10 today. I'm at 4.24 right now, and I'm only getting a kilowatt per hour. The sky is cloudy today. It sucks. Ship floating around without a crew. They're thinking of towing it. It's taking a lot of water. Is that the British ship that was attacked in the Red Sea? Headache started pain in the lungs, a stabbing pain in the heart. Ooh. Well, I guess they're working, so it must have been something biological. Declan Kelly says load shedding back up stage 4. Yeah, Declan, I was reporting on load shedding all the time, but I finally have just this week I'm barely touching on it because it's not even news anymore. People know where to go. They can go to the SCOM Push app to find out what's going on. In fact, I have SCOM Push. Let me look that up. Where's my SCOM Push app? Come on. The easiest way to find it is just go to the Play Store on the main page and put SCOM in there. Apps. Where's my apps? Hello. Play Store. There we go. Play Store. SCOM. Yes. Come on. Typing very poorly here. SCOM Push. Okay. Well, it's turned off. I must have turned it off. I got to update now. I got to update it. Oh, man. Chris, very nice graphic. You like that, Light Rain? Yeah, that's a pretty cool one. Yeah, and I'm working on another one, working on some more cards. The card that I produced for the first round, I showed it to people yesterday. Actually, I can put that up on the screen if I can find it here real quick. So let me see. Image. I know some people are curious about it. Palm card. Okay, let me get that. I've got it here somewhere. I scanned it last night. There we go. There you go. So there's the palm card. I don't want that. There you go. Well, let me turn my camera off because it's a little bit distracting there. See my mouth through there. There you go. So there it is. Johannesburg's schedule is real P. They never follow the schedule. I don't doubt that at all. So let me open up my SCOMS to push and see what it says. Stage 4. Yep, for 15 hours. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Power off from 11 to 1:30 in Schwane, because that's the place I've got it set for. Wow. Man, oh man. Areas. Any street. Okay. Wow. SCOMS to push. Yeah, boy. Cover the care deployment interviews with the DA Shadow Mister. I did not. Oh, Leon Schreiber. No, I didn't cover it because it was on there. I haven't tried. I tried to get a hold of Leon Schreiber a long time ago. Haven't got in touch with him in a long time. So, how many days of load shedding do you have over there? Just a question. 0, Andre. I've never had a single day of load shedding. We've had power outages because lines have been taken down by snowstorms and windstorms, but never had a day of load shedding. Never, ever had to have the grid collapsed. Andre says, good-looking bugger when you're younger. Andre, that's 4 years ago, that picture without the beard. Both of those pictures are from 4 years ago. That's not 30 years ago. I'm a good-looking bugger now. Yeah, 0 days. Yep, 0 days. So that's the front and back of the card. Anyway, just so you guys can see it there. I thought I'd share that with you real quick. All right, so let me turn that off. And we will get back to the camera there. Wrong one. Wrong one. There you go. That's not true, Redane. You were very poorly informed. This is Pennsylvania. Two of my opponents in the 5 in the race also have beards, not as epic or impressive as mine. And about 40% or 35-40% of the men in the state legislature all have beards. None of the women, mind you, none of the women have beards, but the men have beards. So yeah, no, in this area where I live, this is a positive. It's not a negative. So. Painful, debilitating. Yikes, what's that? Elections campaign. No, I didn't cover the Leon Schreiber thing. I'd like to interview him, but I don't have any. I had a contact from him one time. I reached out to him, and he never got back with me. That was a few years ago on another issue. So I can try to get him again. But I think I'm actively being shadow banned by South African prominent figures. I get that impression because I'm not getting responses from a number of prominent figures in South Africa when I contact them, even though they get a far fairer and more comprehensive shot here than they do in other places. So anyway, yeah, care deployment is very, very deep. Yep. I'll be reporting on that because someone sent me the actual full file. Let me get to that real quick. I know I've got that here somewhere here. Hang on a second. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. So got it. Yep. ANC. How many pages is this? Let me see. Oh, I can't see. It won't tell me. Why aren't you telling me how many pages, man? The page I've got, I don't know. It's not complete. But anyway, I've got some of the actual original records here, and it's so much of it is grayed out. It's been redacted. The ANC is redacting it to cover up their crimes. They say it's for personal identifying information, but it's not. Radine says the only politician with a beard I can think of is Ted Cruz. You're thinking at the national level. I'm talking about Pennsylvania, Radine. Yep, here's the minutes from 2023. And as we go down here, Guida Montasha. So this is just a mix of their documents here. So we'll start seeing redacted portions. Hang on. Come on, I know I saw it. Oh, man, there's a lot of pages here. There we go. Redacted. Yeah, blank is not serving any other board, and there should be a greater appreciation of economic crises. Here you go. It's a desperate situation. Beyond the board. No fixed stock. Yep, and all these people's names are, and these unions are blocked out, so we can't see who the criminals are. Here's another one here. There's no reason to protect these people. Here, they protected some, but not others. David Mabuza is enlisted as intended, but they blocked out 2 others. And notice all of it says comrades, because they're communists. Communists. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma did not attend. Saleh Mapapile did not attend. Yeah, look at this, just all redacted. It looks like something from the CIA or from the Biden regime, not something that we expect from legitimate government. Declan says, how is the work trans Pennsylvania is that red and blue state? Well, Declan, there's no such thing as a red and blue state. That's I take deep offense, not to you, but to the depiction of America in that way by the media. There's no such thing. First off, the traditional color of the Republican Party is blue, not red. But some election in the 1980s, I think it was 84, something like that, the media just changed the color one day and put red for conservative, for Republicans, and blue for and everybody went with it, just changed it. So that's the first problem with it. Second, there's no such thing. I mean, if you look at Pennsylvania, how it votes, 85% of the physical territory of this state votes conservative. Mining, timber, service industry, farming, small-scale farms, dairy, maize, soybeans, things like that, all over the state. 85%. But if you look at the cluster around Philadelphia in the southeast corner and Pittsburgh in the western portion of the state, and then some spots here and there like Altoona, Scranton, Reading, places like that, Harrisburg, then you find more Democrats. But most of the state is actually Republican. Of the 12.9 million people, so let me give you an example. The county where I'm, not the county, but the district that I'm in has 47,000 registered voters. 28,000 are Republican, registered Republicans. That's not even people who vote Republican elections. That's just those who are registered Republicans. Only 13,000 Democrats. They're outnumbered more than 2 to 1. More than 2 to 1. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of how the situation is here. So, if you're going to use the red and blue description of a place, this district is red. It's red. And that's why 5 Republicans are running for the seat, because the incumbent is leaving the seat, and so somebody wants to jump in there. Might have done, what's this? With the beard, one can always link back to the middle-aged and elderly memories of a man of true grit and companion. Grizzly Adams. Yeah, Grizzly Adams. Yeah, he was great. Breaking news from Bloemfontein. The decommissioned power station cooling towers have caught massive fire. Oh, wow. Okay, Bloemfontein. Let me check on that, see if I can find it. Thank you for that. Is that on Twitter? I'll go to Twitter. Come on. I don't want that. It's telling me to search for people. I want to search over here. Nope. Oh, Herman Mashaba is talking about it. It's hilarious. No, I don't see anything on Bloemfontein listed here other than something from Herman Mashaba. He said, this is, when did he put this up? This is from February 15th, so a couple days ago, last week. I just arrived at this historic Ramakai prison in Bloemfontein, where former Premier Ace Magashuli's government spent $120 million to build a new museum and legislature. But today, there's nothing. Imagine what could have been done with the 120 million rand. This is from Herman Mashaba from Action SA. He went there, and there's nothing to it. Look at that. Dilapidated, falling apart. Just such rapacious vultures, the ANC are, stealing money. Yeah. Where is this at? I don't see anything on that. What? It's pronounced prima facie. What are you talking about? Very few over here can pronounce cater properly. The word is French. It's pronounced cadre. You're dead wrong. It's prima facie. No. It's pronounced cadre. I know how it's pronounced because I speak French. Je parle le français depuis longtemps. Le mot est d'origine française. Donc on dit cadre. Cadre. Ça c'est le mot. Juste. Juste. Yeah, caters is a bastardization of it in South Africa. I only say that because a lot of my audience is South African. Yep. I wish the day would stop using commie words when addressing citizens. I agree with you, Val Cooper. I wish every political party would stop using a manifesto. Talk about commie. Yes, Andre, correct. But, yeah, guys, I don't say in the hospital. I say in hospital because much of my audience is in the UK and South Africa, and you don't use proper English. So it's in the hospital because you're talking about a specific hospital, not in hospital. No one's in hospital, but that's what the Brits say. So I say that. I also say robot because my South African audience is confused and doesn't know what a traffic light is. They think it's R2D2. So, it's the vernacular, The fact that I say cater for my audience doesn't mean I don't know cadre. Yep. Anyway, I wish the DA... Okay, so got that. Where can I send pics and a voice note? Well, RJ, I can... you can send it to... Andre says no problem. Well, yeah, of course not, Andre. I'm just clarifying for you because you get people like for instance, when the trolls were attacking my channel in the early days when I was blowing up and getting hundreds of thousands of views and I got 20-some thousand subscribers and they had to put a stop to me by falsely reporting me and in collusion with the corrupt YouTube regime at the time, just censoring people who were conservative. When that was happening, you had this racist black nationalist who attacked me on Twitter. I didn't even go on Twitter at the time. I was barely using my Twitter account. And this guy went on Twitter to attack me, and he stole my content and edited it and posted it and made false allegations against me. For instance, when I interviewed Phil Craig, he took the opening comments, the first minute when I spoke, stole that because he was so lazy he didn't know how to edit properly, just cut the rest of the video off, put it up, and accused me of being a fraud, claiming that I claimed I was a South African when I'm actually English and not South African. I'm like, first off, that is libel. You need to remove it. You stole my content. It's a copyright violation. Number two, you libeled me. I never claimed to be British. I never claimed to be South African. I'm an American. You're just a deuce who stole my content to spread your hatred. And then the same clown, he said, oh, he's a fraud. He claims to speak African languages. All he knows is Sawubona. No, that's not all I know. It's the only word I know in Zulu, and I've said that quite frequently. People try to teach me a few Zulu words like hello and thank you and things like that. But Sawubona means I see you. And how do I know that? Because South African Airways in their in-flight magazine called it Sawubona. And when you open the cover, what the hell does Sawubona mean? Well, it's Zulu for I see you. It's a greeting. So there you go. There's nothing wrong with cellular service, Arctic. I have service right now. I have 5 bars right now. Right now, 5 bars. There's nothing wrong with cellular. This is T-Mobile. Nothing wrong. People who live in in woke cities where thieves are stealing things and breaking down networks, well, that's not my fault. How can we be having Americans lecture us on how to speak proper English? Because we are the ones who spread the language most recently through the internet, through broadcast, through radio. Not the Brits. Not the Brits. You did through colonization. People don't like that. They don't like that, man. No, that's not correct, Arctic. I gave the report earlier. T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T were all affected by this. All 3 carriers. Your information is incorrect, brother. I did the news story earlier. Multiple news outlets reported, the New York Post, the New York Times reported that T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T, the largest affected is AT&T. I was going to get through to the DA, so they should stop using commie terms. They're not going to stop because that's a South African thing. It's a South African thing. All right, Fiona's got her dinner. Thanks for being here, Fiona. Say hi to your caregiver. Gabriella says, buonasera, everyone. Well, interesting. You're sharing the Italian there. You're living, but there is Italian. It's one of the official languages in Switzerland. Endo says, damn, picking on the Brits a lot. Well, you're not a Brit. Come on, man. Got a mail from the boss. Our AT&T line's messed up. Yeah, probably. Something's going on. It's probably the Chi-Coms. Probably the Chi-Coms. By the way, for those in the moderator group or the members group, I think it was the moderator group last night, I shared a couple videos from YouTube about Midnight, and there's one other guy, these guys who bust these fake call centers who are robbing people. That was incredible. Could be solar flares. That's a good point, Arctic. Could very well be solar flares. We were supposed to have a spat of those. Just spent 30 minutes at doctor's surgery, get treatment prescribed so I could get drugs from the chemist. Your weak, vulnerable condition exposed you to risk in hospital. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Julie's here. Greetings. Glad I found this live. Well, I'm glad you found it too, Julie. Why wouldn't you find it? Did you not know it was here? You did not know it was here? Do you know much about people like Lord Renwick and other handlers who dictate to our South African politics? Not a whole lot, Grasshopper. I've heard a lot of allegations, but not. Yeah, sure. And the unicorn will deliver my next paycheck. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It may be the case. I mean, look, hey, unicorns are real, man. I mean, why not? Joe Biden is real. If Joe Biden is real, unicorns must be real. You know what I'm saying? They have to be real. Unicorns have to be real. Gabrielle says, actually, I'm Italian. Are you? I know Radine is Italian. Okay, well then, buonasera, salve. It's greetings to you, Gabrielle. I've been saying grüß Gott to you, and or servus, and there's no need for that. I need to be saying buonasera or buongiorno. I'll tell you what, man. I lived in Italy for 2 years, and it was a fascinating experience. Unfortunately, I spent a year that deployed outside the country, but I really enjoyed my time in Italy. I really loved it when they went on strike on the autostrada, and I didn't have to pay tolls. Good stuff. Yeah, but paying tolls in Italy is such a pain in the bottom, man. I hated that. I hated paying tolls. But I lived in Grisignano di Zocco, which is located halfway between Vicenza and Venice. Well, not quite halfway, more closer to Vicenza. Yep. And then, so I used to work in Vicenza at Caserma de Italy. Yep. Were you ever in, I can't see what that, it'll come up in a second. Monte Vergine. No, I don't recognize that. What's the latest with no, Andre, they're not on their way out. Those folks are not going on their way out because they're in safe districts. They're in districts that are demon rat and aren't going to change. And by the way, I don't say that about Democrats. I say that about demon rats, the leftists in the Democratic Party, which is most of them these days. Princess Diana was related to Churchill. I'm related to Cary Grant and Edward Longshanks and Harold Bluetooth and a host of other famous people, none of whom are me. Yeah, no, I've been all over Italy and all over, well, certainly from Rome up, but I've also been to Naples one time. But Milan, used to go there for meetings. Venice multiple times. I had an office in Livorno, went to Firenze quite a bit, was based in Vicenza, went to the Gardasee, Lake Garda, to the Dolomites quite a bit. I spent a lot of time in South Tyrol, or Alta Adige, which is what the Italians call it, because there's Germans up there. So I would go to Bozen, or Bolzano, as the Italians would say, and I'd buy my vegetables speaking German to the merchants who spoke Italian. They understood my German, and I understood their Italian. That's how we did it. American Air Base at the top of that mountain was dismantled in the mid-'70s. Okay, Gabrielle, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. We all know American English is usually a dumbed-down form. We can get plenty of that for English folks who do not follow academic path. Oh, that medication is having an impact on Keith. He's become cranky. Did I miss the lead hotline? Well, I have to go back and see what the title of this program was. Remember what it was now. It's been a while. All the elections. Yeah, we talked about the elections earlier. YouTube is playing all kinds of games. I don't have any analytics today. I can't see what's going on. There's no viewer activity as far as super chats or memberships, so that doesn't show me that. My stream is healthy, and yeah, that's it. All right, so yeah, but I can't see my data. This is really weird. Not accustomed to that with YouTube. Hopefully that's just a short-term problem, not a long-term. Yeah, South African elections. I talked about the South African elections earlier. So yeah, absolutely. Happy to talk about that again. The international press has picked up that South Africa has elections, and I covered a story by the Associated Press and one by Al Jazeera. And then, of course, EFF Chaos. I've talked about what happened today in the Eastern Cape, where the EFF started a brawl at the State of the Province address, just like they did on Monday in Gauteng when Panyaza Lesufa was speaking. And then I also brought up, and I did a video on this that was published right before I went live with this broadcast. You can go check that out afterwards to get more detail on EFF and their behavior. And then I talked about New York's non-citizen voting is illegal. A judge has determined that it violates New York's Constitution and a law that was enacted in the state of New York. And so non-citizens, 800,000 of whom legal, welcome here, green card holders, resident aliens who are allowed to be here, living in New York City, are no longer allowed to vote in elections because it's a crime and it never should have happened. But the demon rats in New York City allowed it to happen. If you like to go to Italy and then immediately go to the German part of Italy. No, that's not true, Radine. You were making assumptions. You're making assumptions. I lived in Grisignano di Zocco. I didn't immediately go to the German-speaking part of Italy. No, I didn't. But I went there frequently on the weekends because my newspaper was the Dolomiten, which was published in German. And it's still around, the Dolomiten. And I bought ceramics from Thun, a factory that makes Kachelofen and makes pipes and things out of ceramic, but they also make figurines, and they're really cool. And I got a big collection of those. I just go up there and buy them all the time at Thun, at their outlet store, not outlet, but their retail store. And then I would buy my lunch meat because the Germans know how to make cold cuts. No one else does. The Germans know how to make cold cuts. Schwarzwälder Schinken and Truthahn, salami, and oh my goodness, all of that stuff. And then I get the cheese there, my Emmentaler. And I go to the Bäckerei and I'd get some Brötchen, and oh my goodness, I'm getting hungry now thinking about it. I have an EFF, I have a red mic to make the EFF mad. Well, I also have this mic here, which can be any color I want it to be, but it's currently set for purple to match my on-air sign. So I have that microphone as well. That one's on a boom. That's my boom mic for when I do my radio shows, my radio programs, because it's more like being in a radio studio. And this one here is more for the television studio. Do you think Western society is falling in decline? I think it's especially since the start of this millennium. Agreed, 100% Declan. 100%. And it is, do you see what happened in Japan? Do you see what happened in Japan? Woohoo! Kurds attacking Japanese. Racist attacks on Japanese. Unbelievable. Japanese allow Kurds to come to Japan. Kick them out. Kick them out. Purple mic makes your eyes pop. Well, thank you, Julie. You're chatting me up there. Yeah, anyway, so yeah. Purple's my favorite color. When I was a kid, green was my favorite color, but then spending 36 years in the Army surrounded by green, you know, after Prince made purple cool with Purple Rain, Purple Rain. When he made purple cool, I kind of, you know, started liking purple. Yeah. Actually, kind of like pink, too. But it's got to be done right. It can't just be hot pink. Purple Rain. There you go. Purple Rain, says Hendo. Yep. Now, that is cute. Sexy purple mic. Oh, Prince, man. Gone too soon. Michael Jackson, gone too soon. Although, we could have done without his freaky phase. What an incredibly talented performer, though. Need to take notes from the IDF. About what, Kurtz? About what? Notes for what? Share that with us. Yeah, I don't know that that was, Joking Atheist, I reported that we don't know that it was Hamas. We do know that it was terrorist. They used M16s to murder people who were sitting in traffic. And we saw yesterday, I ran that video yesterday about people who were ambushed by smash and grab robbers in Joburg around Gold Reef City. Traffic stop, people banging into the concrete walls trying to get away from these people. One man was beaten with a pistol butt and lying on the floor of his car, reportedly. Someone reported that. Now, I got that information from folks who shared that. Purple's for the color for the sexually frustrated. Yeah, oh, sure. Sure. You say so. When doves fart. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. Yep. Japan. Huh? Oh, the IDF needs to take notes from Japan. Gotcha. Japan needs to take notes from the IDF. Okay, gotcha, Kurtz. Tracking now. See, that text comes up after I've already got past the point. Absolute chaos is breaking out all over. Something is going horrible. Yes, something is horribly wrong, and something very horrible is going to happen. It's going to happen somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere it's going to happen very bad. It's frightening, folks. Pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary stuff. Anyway, yep. So, purple's a pretty color, but reminds me of coffins. Oh, what do you guys? It reminds me of clergy vestments. You know, purple or maroon. Yeah. Doug McPherson. What does he say? EFF have been defeated in Parliament and trying to protect John Lopez. This falls hot on the heels of defeating EFF in the Makwabane impeachment. Victory is certain. Well, good luck, Dean McPherson. I hope you're right about that, but I wouldn't hold my breath. You got a lot of work to do between now and May 29th. There's a lot of South Africans who are hoodwinked into what's happening there. Anyway, so, yep. Absolute chaos breaking out all over. I agree. Jeff Buckley was a big loss to music. Jeff Buckley from, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, we're going to lose some other great musicians before too long. I mean, some really talented performers only have so many years left. I mean, Van Morrison is a stud, man. Going to miss him the day he's gone. Yep. Yeah, we saw a few years ago, what's his name there, from Learning to Fly. Tom Petty, yeah. I had to give myself a prompt there. Tom Petty, he passed away. That was a bit of a surprise. He was a bit young to go. That's good to hear. Just finished 3 hours preparing 2 videos for this coming week. And I thought you had dinner, Fiona. Good to see you back. So when I got home today, I started watching this series, Masters of the Air. First, I've not seen that. I saw it listed somewhere, but I haven't. I think is it on Netflix or Prime? It's on one of those. One of those. I don't recall, but yeah, I haven't watched that. I haven't watched. People are swearing by it. They said it's really good. I might get around to it. For me, my master of the air were the aviation pioneers, those guys who were barnstorming in the 1910s and 20s. Yep. We will know when World War III happens, or will it only be realized later on? Well, if there's a World War III, we'll all be vaporized by nuclear weapons, so we won't know about it. We'll be gone. Apple, and it is amazing. Is that where it's only on Apple? Apple Plus. Is that the only place? I mean, I swore I saw it available. Maybe it was an ad I saw somewhere for it. Yeah, I don't use Apple. It's rich white people toys. Not for me. I'm not a rich white people. Certainly not from Super Chats. That's for darn sure. Yep, certainly not from YouTube production. Anyway, so, wow. An hour and 30 minutes. 70 people here. Will World War III necessarily be nuclear? Well, I mean, what are you going to include in World War III? Is this a fight between the United States and someone else? If it's a fight with the U.S. and Russia, Russia's a nuclear armed power, and they're making all kinds of threats. So, sent the trailer an email. Okay, maybe that's where I saw it, Joking Atheist. Maybe that's why I saw it. You sent me an email. Okay. Keith says we're halfway through World War III. Yeah, that's a fair argument, too. What's this? Beaver Fry. That guy blew up because of the Canadian trucker thing. Lucky him. Yep. Just watch the damn show. Same producers as Band of Brothers. I haven't watched Band of Brothers. I have all the DVDs. I haven't watched that. I have watched Flags of Our Fathers. That is great. Boy, that Clint Eastwood, he did a brilliant job on that. Yeah, the Flags of Our Fathers. That was a great movie. Yep. Fiona's eating and typing. She's multitasking. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I'm multitasking. Yeah, so I have to multitask to do this. But it's just astounding that YouTube, I've never once had a broadcast where I cannot load the analytics for a stream. This is weird. They must not be able to produce them right now. Let me try it again. Refresh the page. Nope, nothing there. It's empty. It's empty. Wow. China Beach was, I liked China Beach when it came out, but I lost interest in the show. Marg Helgenberger was really, then she later did the CSI show. See any of the trailers for the new Civil War film? I didn't know there was a new Civil War film. Oh my, you really should do Band of Brothers. You need a break anyway. Can't vote for a person who hasn't seen the Band of Brothers. Well, you can't vote for me anyway, man. You're a foreign national. You don't live in New York. You can't vote for me, Arctic. Well, I can't vote for people who haven't watched Black Hawk Down. How you like them apples? Or Zulu. How's that? Or The African Queen. Or Casablanca. Or North by Northwest. Those are great films, man. Casablanca and North by Northwest. Great films. North by Northwest is one of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, it is brilliant. Of course, my cousin Cary Grant is in it, so one reason why I like it. You're not voting by paying taxes. No, you're not. Taxes do not grant you voting rights. We Were Soldiers. That's a good movie, yeah. We Were Soldiers once, yeah. Mel Gibson in that one, yep. Taxes do not grant you voting rights. Paying taxes does not entitle you to voting rights. Residence does not entitle you to voting rights. Citizenship entitles you to it. Black Hawk Down. I remember coming out of the cinema feeling angst. What a movie. Yeah, no, I was something else. You should watch Masada. I know that one, Andre. I've been to Masada. I've been to Masada, man. I lived in Israel. I've been to Masada. Not up on it, just at the base of it. They didn't have time to go up there. It's about near future civil war in the U.S. Okay. Yeah, no. You pay all the taxes you want, man. Lots of people pay taxes. Doesn't give them voting rights. Voting for Biden, so I'm voting. Artie's waiting for it not to be. Well, look, just, go to the local nursing home, and there's your ballot. That's what the Democrats will tell you. My goodness. You just see the videos of people showing up and dumping ballot after ballot after ballot into a box, and making multiple drops. You only get to vote one time. So how do they refute this in Georgia? We saw the video of people timestamps coming and dumping and then coming back and putting more ballots in. You can only do one ballot. So how could they even refute that? Yet they somehow got away with it. Gonna nab all the awards. Well, the awards mean nothing, joking atheists. I mean, they give them out to their favorite purple-haired, 5-pronoun clown. Dion loves mail-in ballots. He does. He brings my airmail. Ooh, gastric reflux. That didn't sound very pleasant. Yeah, no, I don't know that movie, so I do not know that movie. We're down to 59, folks. I'm going to wrap it up here. It's 12:30 on Eastern Standard Time Friday. Don't forget, on Saturday, we have the Six Nations is back. It's Ireland hosting Wales, and then Scotland hosting England. So I'll be covering both those games because my Celtic teams are playing, not Wales so much. Sorry, Fleshin. But all the great Welsh players are retired. I can't really get in with that team there. There's only one or two players I like left on there. But Scotland and Ireland, I tend to cover those games. So Saturday morning I'll be covering those, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, which is 4:15 South Africa, and at 11:15, which is 6:15 in South Africa. So, yeah, that'll be on Saturday for the Six Nations, and we'll cover the news here tomorrow. I may have a K-Nako next Wednesday. Working on that right now. Got at least one person committed to it. So, airborne is rubbish. Fake junk. What? Agreed, but they do get it right on the spare. This will be one of those moments, okay? Don't forget Italy. Yeah, Italy is not much in the Six Nations. That's why they should let, Georgia in, so Italy has a chance to win a game. You're going to come watch the Buck play at Loftus? When is that? I don't... the problem is the dates. It would require multiple trips. So right now I'm looking at a trip in May for the elections. I'm looking at a trip to the UK in June, potentially, for the Springboks at Twickenham and other rugby action there. And so I'm not sure. Kurt says good luck for the elections. Wouldn't be governor, it'll be representative. You only vote if those who have decided on the outcome either like your vote or your vote won't alter the outcome. This won't be needed here in the UK. Yeah, this year. Oh, boy. Keith is crabby today, man. Civil War film follows a team of journalists who travel across the United States during the rapidly escalating Second American Civil War, which is, oh, you mean now? You mean what's going on now? Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Julie. That's about now. I didn't get that at all. I got that now. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. We only got 77 likes, a much smaller audience than normal. And it looks like I have no data from YouTube on this one, so I don't know how the health of the stream was. Thanks a lot for being here, and we'll catch you if anything's breaking later today. Please go back and watch my two videos. One premiered about 10 hours ago, and the other one premiered, 12 hours ago. And the other premiered about 2 hours ago. And please check those out. And thanks a lot, everybody. Take care, and have a lovely evening. It's telling me to put an ad here now, but I'm going to skip that and just say goodnight. Thanks. Appreciate you being here. Cheers.